to add another piece to what I'm going to discuss tonight. And it all ties in together. It all ties in together. And I'm like, boy, it is so strange. I've been using this spray for a while, and my attention never went to the back of the can to see that it was actually made in Maywood, Illinois. I had the Maywood tree already tied into what I was going to discuss, but I wasn't going to discuss it tonight. But it's definitely tied into Indian money. But look like I got to talk about it tonight because it must be fake. Anyway, a little bit update before I get started. Somebody had made a comment on my post about Adolfo Thornton's, and they basically said don't rule out anything. And I was like, okay, this is somebody from Memphis that follows this stream. Yeah, Maywood. And they said don't rule out anything, because y'all know I had, I was talking about his wife. I didn't even know he wasn't married. I thought he was married, but they said it's like a common law marriage type thing. I'm not that deep into the case. I'm more so looking at the land from what that person said in my comment section, that land, his land, is now controlled by some type of manager now that he is deceased. I don't really know how to feel about that. I just want everybody to protect themselves, and I want us as a culture, as allodials, okay, to put our eyes on the land and keep our eyes on the land always. Keep your eyes on the land always, because you never know if you're being targeted and when you're being targeted. And hopefully tonight I can make this even clear that you not only inherited the land, that you also inherited the war. And whether you like it or not, the war could be on you and your family currently over some land that you don't even know you own. And they're just hoping that you'll be wiped out before you even get it. Another brother put on my post today, just a few hours before I went live, this video that I'm gonna I'm gonna let you all listen to it. It's a land issue going on in Memphis. Vice did a report on it 7 months ago. They're trying to run a pipeline through South Memphis. Y'all, I had no clue of this until literally about an hour before it's time for me to go live. I have to show y'all this because it's all tied in together. It's all tied in together. So let me show y'all. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want to give y'all a good picture of this. And this ties into why I love people from Memphis, and it's because they're not afraid to fight. They're not afraid to fight. So, give a quick listen, and I'm going to skip through parts of this so you can, This right here, you can grow the biggest sweet potatoes. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear? Just the person on the video said this land used to grow the biggest sweet potatoes. That's a Negro family walking on the land. He said that it used to grow the biggest sweet potatoes. Can y'all hear this? All this down here. She was planting her sweet potatoes. Right on that edge there, that's where the corn was. 3 years to a stalk. Every kind of beans and greens. Right at the edge of that right there. The turnip greens and the collard greens grow real good. It still will grow real good.
This acre of land in South Memphis has been in Clyde Robinson's family for over 80 years.
80 years!
I don't know what the young people are going to do, but I would love to see a living quarter for old people. got a playground, a park. Well, that'll be nice. It's large enough to make anything you want to.
But the Robinsons family plot sits right on the proposed path of a 49-mile crude
It's
oil
the Robinson
pipeline
family.
that would go straight through South Memphis.
South Memphis.
Byhalia, the company behind the pipeline, tried to buy a portion of Robinson's land from him, but he refused. So they sued him, along with 9 other landowners, in an attempt to take the land through eminent domain.
Always been somebody over here trying to take what don't belong to them. But now it's taking time is out.
That just gives me chills. I just said weeks ago why I love people from Memphis. Because they fight back. This OG said, taking time. This OG said somebody is always down there trying to take something that don't belong to them, but taking time is out.
This pipeline is called the Byhalia Connection. It's a collaboration between 2 energy companies, Valero, which already operates an oil refinery in town, and Plains All American. The pipeline would connect 2 existing pipelines to deliver oil from Oklahoma to Mississippi. The path Byhalia proposed winds down through South Memphis, cutting through several historically black communities. There is a more direct option, but that would cut through predominantly white, wealthier neighborhoods in the north.
So basically, they're wanting to wind this pipeline down through South Memphis instead of just doing a straight cut. The straight cut through the white people neighborhood. Instead of doing that, they're deciding to wind the pipeline down the bottom of South Memphis all the way out the way and then wind it back up to the path instead of just going a straight path. Because they'd rather move them Negroes who have had those homes for 80 plus years, some 100 years. They'd rather move them and gentrify them out by any means necessary to run an oil pipeline in order to remove the white people. So you can see the trickery in that already. And I'm going to skip through this.
1863 from how it was built.
Refinery is burning in the community. A steel mill is burning in the community. So this pipeline is one example of environmental racism that Westwood and Boxtown have faced for decades.
About that name, Boxtown. It got its name in 1863
Boxwood tree.
from how it was built. The
Boxtown.
previously enslaved people who settled here didn't have any building materials, so they used old trains.
They took the boxcars and built a community here, and everyone took care of each other.
Let me just tell y'all what this man just said. They took the box carts from the train and built a community. That's a whole trend still to this day that these boys in Memphis created. They've been doing this stuff. He talking about the 1800s.
A lot of people work their whole life to own a little piece of land.
Residents in Boxtown say they've dealt with toxic fumes for decades, from nearby steel refineries, food processing plants, and petrochemical plants. Industrial sites in this part of town account for almost 94% of all the air pollution reported in the greater Memphis area.
The word is always out. Why don't they pull themselves up by their bootstrap? Well, we trying, but every time we get them almost up, here come something else.
Batso Booker has lived here his whole life and leads listening sessions on his community's concerns.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to pull no Jingle Bell commercial on me. Why, you see I'm talking about something important.
Men, could you remove your covers? We come to you, Father, as humble as we know how. When everybody said that Boxtown was the path of least resistance, Father, you said, not my children.
Not
we
mine.
believe you.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to be a rock in these politicians' boots. Not to hurt them, but just to keep them on their toes.
I've been out here 45 years, my husband and I, and we love our land, but they're trying to take it.
This community is the pushover for everything that don't nobody else want.
In our neighborhood, we wake up in the morning, you can't breathe. We have stomach issues, we have asthma, and we don't know why. And you probably can smell it in the air now.
So they just thought that the most harm it could do was just smell real bad. But that's not the most harm that it really did.
Scotty Fitzgerald grew up in a neighborhood near Boxtown. A University of Memphis study found that the nearby industrial sites could explain why residents here are 4 times more likely to get cancer than the national average. Fitzgerald didn't know that growing up, but she always knew something was wrong.
You could actually see the chemical company from our house. You could look over across the way and see it. See the pipes and the smoke going. Even the scripture says we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And a lot of them didn't know that with these chemicals came toxic poisoning. They didn't know. Everybody that lived in that house right there on Alta, Alice, Aline, Annette, Jesse, they all died with breast cancer. Paula Sanford and her sister, they ended up with breast cancer. 2 sisters in the same house.
And they don't know how to calculate reparations, right? But you got these plants over here on Ayers property in Memphis, and then you wiping whole neighborhoods out with cancer-causing agents that's clearly being put in the air. Y'all?
They were young women. They were not older. Some in their 30s.
30s.
Some in their 40s.
40s.
My mother was in her 40s when they discovered she had breast cancer. She had to have a mastectomy.
Fitzgerald owns land that was given to her by her mother, who bought it when very few black women own land. Now she's fighting in court to keep it from being taken through eminent domain and used for the pipeline.
They sent me a packet.
Listen
we
to
want
this.
so many feet, and then when we get it, nobody can come from generation to generation to generation to ever reclaim it. This is the thing they wrote me. Sign here. Who are you to say that to me? After my mother worked, where were you when they were hungry? Where were you when she sacrificed her food sometime? So many billion a year they'll be making, and they offered people peanuts.
Man, I'm going to have to run that back one more time. I'm going to rewind her part back one more time so y'all can really feel what this young lady just said.
A packet. We want so many feet, and then when we get it, nobody can come from generation to generation to generation to ever reclaim it.
None of the air.
This is the thing they wrote me. Sign here. Who are you to say that to me? After my mother worked, where were you when they were hungry? Where were you when she sacrificed her food sometime? So many billion a year they'll be making, and they offered people peanuts. My mama worked her fingers to the bone. I never seen her mother not working. Never. She worked her whole life. They felt like that we were just gonna roll over. But some people would rather die, fight and die, than to live like this anymore.
There's a spirit in this place, and it's one that I have been able to witness, particularly as this movement builds, in the landowners and in the community members who say, we will fight Goliath. Took a lot of courage, though, to go from dealing with sheep to taking on giants. And you know how the story ends. Goliath loses.
The city council was set to vote on an ordinance.
Goliath loses. I just got this video an hour before. But it's so strange how this all ties in together. Even down to how the first clip that they put in the video talking about how the sweet potatoes grow in that area on that fertile soil. I want y'all to know how this Indian money was stole. There is still a sweet potato market down there. We just don't run it, and it's running on our heirs' property, and especially in places like North Carolina. The sweet potato industry is about a $750 million industry. 60% of that is coming out of North Carolina on heirs' property, y'all. Quietly. Quietly. They was growing them sweet potatoes all along that belt. Y'all, I'm going to go ancient and then I'm going to bring it back. But let me see, can I find a quick map? Let me see, can I find a quick map of just that one commodity, sweet potatoes. Yes, please share this video. Please click like. This is important. There's nothing more important than what I'm saying. Nothing more. I can't find nothing more important than what I'm saying. Because everything we see now ties directly into what I'm saying and what I've been saying. I ain't just start saying this stuff. You all are just seeing clearer and clearer how this all ties in together. I said something about Adolfo and buying land. I didn't even know they were trying to take South Memphis. I didn't know that. I saw the letters that was going out. I didn't know it was tied all in together. They gave them people to, a lot of those people to December 5th to move out. I'm starting to think this is about that pipeline stuff. Now, and a bigger question that needs to be asked that I was going to propose back in 2019. That's why I for whoever put that on my post, thank you. Because you have no clue how this all ties into what I was even going to talk about here tonight. Here's the industry. NC sweet potatoes. Heirs property. These are the counties that are growing sweet potatoes. 60% out of the almost $750 million industry is running out of North Carolina. 60%. And we ain't got our hands in it, period. Now let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show you something real quick. I sure hope y'all can see my screen as I move this stuff around. Let me just make sure I can see my screen. Let me just see. Let me just make sure I can see my screen. Okay, heirs property. That's what I'm trying to pull up. This. One second, y'all. This, like I said, it's my first time using StreamYard. Here we go. Let me see, can I enlarge this? Let me see, can I enlarge this? Because I got to show y'all this. Okay. Enlarge it. And interact. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see my screen. Can y'all hear me as I put stuff on the screen? Can y'all hear me? Just making sure y'all can still hear me. Just making sure y'all can still hear me. Just making sure y'all can still hear me. Please put some fire emojis in the chat if y'all can still hear me. The family member from the video is in the chat. Wow, please let me know how I can help you. I can pull the old land records, whatever you need me to do. I can help you tonight. Who's the family member in the chat? Who's the family member in the chat? Somebody said the family member from that video is in the chat. Please let me know if you want me to pull the old land records for you. Nobody can beat y'all. Nobody can move y'all off that land, period. Please let me know. I can get on the conference call with you tonight. I was just made aware of this literally an hour before I went live. Please let me know how I can help you. Donovan. Okay, Donovan, I did not know. Okay, are you the one who sent me this? It doesn't even matter. But please, Donovan, you know how to reach me. When I hang up this live tonight, Donovan, I need to hop on the conference with you, so we can pull these land records tonight. And if you can get just some last names of people in that area, and we can just try to help as many people in that area that we can help, because I saw the letters that were going out. I didn't know anything about this pipeline situation until today. I know that property in South Memphis and in North Memphis and in all of Memphis, that's predominantly, it has always been our area, always. So please, let's talk. Time I hang up, please, if you can get in contact with me. In fact, go ahead and email me your phone number so that I could call you. Okay? So we can get this squared away. Y'all, what I'm showing on my screen here is the USDA took their thermometer in 2018 and did a temperature on heirs property all over America, and they highlighted a few areas here. Okay, they highlighted a few areas in this 118 page PDF from USDA.gov. Y'all look at this. Because everybody is playing dumb, like they don't know how to calculate reparations and restitution. Okay, this is heirs property. This is all Negro, nigga, Naga, Black American, whatever you want to call it. Now, they did 5 counties, and actually, this is a 10-county stretch. Let me get to the chart that I want you all to see. And this is called Heirs Property Black Belt Studies. This the black belt, the nigger belt is what they're trying to say. Okay, now in this study right here, this is a 10-county heirs property estimate analysis in Georgia. Okay, and I see I'm on a little bit of delay just from looking at my camera. I see everybody is on a little bitty delay. Okay. Okay, Donovan, we gonna get this cleared away, because one thing's for certain and two things for sure. I don't care what company is trying to do what. You can't take a allodial title. You can't take no allodial title via eminent domain. The thing is, they can take it via eminent domain if the property owners, if the heirs don't know that they have the titles. And that's why they put in that literature that your people won't be able to come back and get the land generation after generation after generation. Only thing they had to say was your heirs wouldn't be able to come back and get the property if we take it via eminent domain. Nobody can say that. They got nerve. They got some nerve. Just like the lady said in the video, they got some nerve. Now, this chart, I hope y'all can see it. I hope y'all can see it. This is Calhoun, Clay, Doherty, Teleferro, and Telefair. Now, look at this. This is the heirs property in these 5 counties. This was done in 2018. Now, you talking about the year before COVID-19. You're talking about this is the report that was done, during the whole Crimson Contagion era and so forth and so on. They were also trying to run a pipeline through Doherty County. That Doherty County is also the first and the hardest hit area from COVID-19. It started in Doherty County. Heirs property, value of potential heirs property in Doherty County, $648,643,199. And that's just on 10,000 acres of the heirs property in Albany. The reason why it's 648,643,199 just on 10 acres of that land down there is because of how fertile the land is. Now, I don't want to hear nothing about you don't know how to calculate restitution and reparations when you send your little USDA cronies down to Albany to get a temperature on how much the land worth, because you know how much money that's grown down there now as it relates to crops. Doherty County is the biggest county out of this first 5 set of counties, and together it totals in as it relates to potential. Please put that in quotations. $765,808,551. For those, and all of these other counties are little counties. Clay County, Calhoun, Teleferro, those are very small counties. So you got Albany as the anchor county. Then you took COVID-19 down there, killed them people off that goddamn property down there. And you done put your little Ghostbuster machines up. Them people weren't even in the grave long enough before they start putting all them solar panels up down there in Doherty. Now, why y'all didn't tell the people you sent the USDA down there to get a potential value on them black people property down there? Now the next 5 counties. Now we only talking about heirs property. That's nigger property. For everybody who knew. Bibb, Clark, Evans, Jasper, and McIntosh. Okay. And y'all in Bibb County, they only did 9,000 acres of the heirs property out of the 137,000 acres. They only pulled out the families that totaling 9, so particular families, 9,000 acres. Out of the 9,000 acres, that is worth $523,207,628. These motherfuckers got the numbers. Y'all got the numbers. You just want to see if we gonna get it back in blood or not. The total of these properties, $1.3 trillion. That's for 5 counties in Georgia. 5. $1.3 trillion, y'all, is only 38,000 acres of land. You hear what I'm saying? You hear how we have been locked out of our own inheritance. How you lock me out of my wealth. And then don't want me to be pissed off about it. Then got the nerve to target me over talking about it. But you better hope I don't wake up tomorrow and goddamn rain down fire and brimstone my goddamn self. Because I'm from Dougherty County. I helped the brother on here that got land in McIntosh County. Nobody told us the USDA was targeting families down there. In total, those 10 county, that 10 county stretch right there, 72,000 acres, $2.1 trillion. Because like I said, everybody playing dumb. You're going to have to calculate the tobacco that I missed. You're going to have to calculate the mulberries. You're going to have to calculate the pecans. You got to calculate the sweet potatoes. You got to calculate them strawberry fields you got down there. You got to calculate that Sylvester, Georgia is the peanut capital of the motherfucking world. And y'all down there looking at the heirs. Because y'all done stole the peanut industry from the heirs. And y'all trying to see where they at. So y'all can go and take them out. So you won't have to pay the Indians their motherfucking money. Let me scroll up. Let me keep scrolling. Cause they did something else in here. That's the belt. That's the counties that they decided to go in and target to see how many families were still there and who got heirs property and so forth and so on. Okay? You went over to Durham, North Carolina. You went to Orange, North Carolina. You went to Wake, North Carolina. Looking at the heirs property. Ain't no Peckerwood with no heirs property. You went to Wilcox, Alabama, Pickens, Alabama, Calhoun, Alabama, Macon, Alabama. You went to Chatham, Georgia. You went to Savannah in there fucking with people. Targeting people. Calling people about land. The USDA did this. In 2018, right before they released that goddamn COVID-19 shit. Y'all went into Indian territory just like your ancestors did. You got to calculate the Vidalia onions. Because you eat them bitches every motherfucking day and ain't paid a nigga a penny. I was looking for the chart because it's a chart on here where they give a total of some of those counties in North Carolina. But I already told you about the sweet potatoes in North Carolina. That's almost a $750 million industry in itself. Because you can't grow them goddamn sweet potatoes in Africa like that. Not in that capacity of 60% of them coming from damn North Carolina. Y'all will sit here and tell us that everything coming out of Africa. Just so the allodials won't look at their land. That's why they tell y'all that. That goddamn lie. They'll lie. And they so goddamn scared that they're going to have to turn this land over. They are looking at little small portions of people in these areas. and targeting small portions of families. I was trying to scroll so I could see that whole that North Carolina chart, and they talking about Kentucky on here too. Heirs property all over the place. They so scared that they're gonna have to pay us this goddamn money back. Because you got these foreigners coming over here as refugees. Let me keep going. I'll drop this link in the chat so you all can see it. I'll drop that link in the chat so you all can see it. I'll drop that link in the chat so y'all can see it. And let me just be clear. This is after Reconstruction, this map that I got on the screen now. This is after the Peckerwoods. After the whole world came in and fought our ancestors during that garbage ass Civil War. This is during Reconstruction. 1870, we're talking. When Georgia was still, after the murder, the pillage, the slaughter, we was still not only the majority in Georgia, we still own the land in Georgia. Now, I know y'all probably can't see these little totals no matter how much I enlarge this screen. But this is a map, as you can see. Every county. Not one county with 0 in it. Not one. Now you tell me how we supposed to react to this shit. How am I supposed to react to this shit? I'm supposed to be like, oh, it's cool. Y'all can keep it. God bless you. May the Lord keep you and may heaven smile upon you. Just like that lady said. You niggas got some nerve. You niggas got some nerve. Now, let me add in this, because I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see something right quick. Cause keep y'all eyes on Georgia allodials. Cause I gotta show you something real quick. I gotta show y'all something real quick. Cause we talking about the businesses that were taken. So let me see, can I add this real quick in here so I can show y'all some businesses that were taken. Now, in 2018, I had made a Facebook post. In 2018 about Coca-Cola. Let me see, can I enlarge this so y'all can see it? I had made a Facebook post, IG about Coca-Cola. And that mound. Okay? And y'all please follow this, what I'm saying here. Let me interact with this so I can scroll. Here in Georgia, the Royal Colony. I just showed y'all the map. Every county filled with Negroes. What you're seeing now is a map I'm going to zoom in to a place called Dawson Forest. And I need you men to please pay attention to this part. You men and you women, but especially you men. I'm going to zoom into a place called Dawson Forest. Now, as you can see on my screen, it says Dawson Forest, City of Atlanta track. I want y'all to know I'm not in Atlanta right now. I'm not even in Fulton County right now. But this says Dawson Forest, City of Atlanta track. Okay. There is an alias to this place called Dawson Forest. The alias to this place is called Atlanta's Secret Forest. This forest here north of Oscarville, as you can see, Holly Falls. This tract of land was once operated by the indigenous men who ran coca. This forest grows coca. Parts of this area you can't get in. Did y'all hear me clear? This secret forest in Old Etowah grows an indigenous American plant called coca. Not only does it grow coca, this is where Coca-Cola was getting their coca from. That's why the city of Atlanta took it, because Coca-Cola is the city of Atlanta's company. It will forever be, because there will be no Coca-Cola without the city of Atlanta. Let me make this clear. When your fellow, because I just showed you the map where it was niggas owning this land. When these Peckerwood foreigners came over here, they saw rich people up here in this area. The mint was also up here, east of this area. South, you have Oscarville. That's all the way submerged up on the Lake Lanier. All the way submerged. I'm not in Atlanta, y'all. This forest ain't even in Metro Atlanta. That's Lake Lanier. Let me scroll back up to the secret forest. Now, when the Peckerwoods came over here and saw how much money these black men, Negro men were making in the South, they brought an Asian plant in here called kudzu and started choking up their farm. They wasn't just growing one commodity at this place. These Olmec descendants of Etowah, Etula, Tulsa, they were growing coca. They chewed the coca and the ash tree leaves as well as tobacco leaves together as a formula for war because it numbed them during war. They used coca in all types of products. It wasn't the Peckerwoods, it was them, our people. had that plant. This forest grows an ash tree called Maywood. And it grows on a belt from here all the way into South Carolina, where you have all this ash. And this stuff is running right into the Chattahoochee National Forest, and majority of this Chattahoochee National Forest is gated off to this day. Not only can we not see what's in it, we can't even get in it. And I done showed you the map that it was nigger property. Now, these Peckerwoods came in here during these World War I and World War II eras and nuked people. And speaking of pipelines, in 2018, I put out, because I found out that big ass mound right there on 675 and what 285. There's a pipeline that runs from that mound all the way up to Coca-Cola. I also put that mound at the end of Cookies Part 2. That's when the death threats started coming heavily. Because the truth of the matter is that is not no trash pile. Georgia Natural Gas run the damn pipeline. They own the pipeline, and Bill Gates own the mound. Bill Gates also got a heliport over there in that area. I'm talking Conley, Georgia. Moreland. That's the bottom of Atlanta and the top of Conley, Georgia. Y'all knew Bill Gates had a heliport over there? You know you can go on FAA website and see where all the heliports at. They're killing us. Who's in the pipelines, y'all? Coca-Cola. Let me tell y'all something. Oh, y'all. Oh, God. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Coca-Cola wants a whole governing body. Had a monopoly on coca. They had a monopoly on it. The first government to ban coca came out of Georgia. That's just how much coca was running out of Georgia. They made it look like it was an import. But what it was an export. Because since the beginning of time that we know, you had what they call the Olmecs in this area of Georgia. There are temples up here that are covered in grass and kudzu, this Asian plant that was brought over here. To hide the truth. This Coca-Cola company, Let me see, can I pull this up for you all? This Coca-Cola company was started by John Pemberton. Now, if we look up John Pemberton, it's going to show you a lily white man. But you got to be willing to go a little bit deeper. Because I already showed the map. This map was 1870. These was niggas that was here in Georgia, in the Royal Colony. These was Nagas, Negroes. So who was John Pemberton? Okay. Well, I said, well, let me see, can I find him? I found one of John Pemberton's children. John Pemberton Jr. Found him on the 1940 census because either junior or the third, because it's two John Pembertons I found on the 1940 census. And they both, so this is probably the third that I'm about to show you, John Pemberton the third, because they were intentionally passing these names down as if it was our job to go back and research. So John Pemberton the third will be on the 1940 census. Okay. I also pulled the Pemberton land files. They go all the way back to the Indian treaties. Because one of the John Pembertons actually fought in the Seminole War. And one of the John Pembertons, I suppose the same one who fought in the Seminole War, also fought in the Civil War on the Confederate side. And now, how did John Pemberton go from a lily white man to a full nigger? All these are Negroes. That's a Negro family. Robeson, North Carolina, right at the southern tip of North Carolina, touching South Carolina. All them Pembertons was Negroes. And because they were so close, the ancient ones were so close to Oscarville, I suppose. Some of them are also underwater there. Some of the descendants ended up leaving this place that we call the Royal Colony and going to North Carolina. Now let's do a little bit of research on Coca-Cola, who runs this mound here in Atlanta that's down there in Connelly at the southern part of Atlanta, right off Moreland, that I put at the end of Cookies Part 2. Pipeline runs up under there. That ain't no goddamn trash burning in there, y'all. A pipeline runs up under there, up to their secret Coca-Cola factory. That's not so secret, that sits in Hapeville, right off I-75. It's a pipeline because Coca-Cola changed its formula after they took over the company. Changed this person to a white man, because John Pemberton, the original John Pemberton who started Coca-Cola, was murdered. And although they say they do admit that he was murdered in multiple of the Coca-Cola documentaries, they never say he was a Negro. He was murdered. And his company was overtaken. If a big company was overtaken, y'all, you can imagine what happened to the smaller companies. John Pemberton and staff had their bottling company, not only in Atlanta, but they were making this other product that had wine and coca. And they said all the royals drunk it. And it just so happened this product was bottled and made in Anderson, South Carolina, by the Hill family, who was a group of niggas. I pulled them up on the census too. So did anybody tell the Negro, the Hill family in Anderson, South Carolina, which is full of niggas still to this day? Did anybody tell them they was the one making that coca wine? That royals were drinking? Because they were the royals? But the stories got changed around by incoming immigrants. But if you go back and look at those old publications of cocoa wine and just look all the way down at the bottom, it even tells you the story. It says bottled by the Hill brothers in Anderson, South Carolina. And if you go back to that time period in Anderson, South Carolina and look at the population, it's majority niggas. A few years ago, they was digging in Anderson, South Carolina, looking for artifacts, looking for ancient artifacts. We ain't even got our eyes on the land. Nobody gonna tell the Hill family, y'all got heirs property down there. Nobody gonna tell them. So let's keep going, because you got ash trees. The ash tree was key. See, these evergreen trees that are grown here in America. We the home of the evergreen. You got these various types of ash trees that's mixed with coca and mixed with tobacco and chewed. When we were growing up, a lot of our ancestors chewed what they call snuff. They chewed snuff for whatever reason. But back in the day, they used it in war and it numbed them. It wasn't just coca that they chewed. That holly is another name for it. Holly is another name for coca. They grow those red buds on the tree. Holly is another name. So now you know. They chewed this stuff. And in fact, they used it. Our military, American military, tested some people in Africa with this formula. I don't know which war that was, but they actually gave some people in Africa this formula because they was testing it to see how can you beat people when they start chewing this concoction of coca. I ain't talking about cocaine. I ain't talking about when you step on it and all that. I'm talking about raw coca mixed with ash and tobacco. Y'all can look that part up. Now, during this whole time where Coca-Cola was running, and right in between when John Pemberton was murdered, there was legislation being passed that banned exports from Georgia. So a company was then outsourced called the Maywood Company. This Maywood Company was processing coca for the Negroes in Georgia to help them run that Coca-Cola company. That Maywood company was running out of New Jersey. That Maywood company was also cloned. If you go pull up old files of Maywood, the Maywood company, the Maywood Chemical Company is what it was called, because they had to turn coca leaves into various forms to make various different products, just like the coca wine down in South Carolina. They had a toothpaste using coca. They broke down the property. See, nobody told us our ancestors and stuff were scientists. They just tried to make it like they was just some slaves. They didn't know what they were doing. But no way they would have been able to invent all the stuff they invented if they didn't know science. They were over here with the trees. So, of course, they know how to break down the properties of the trees and the leaves and the berries that grow on them. So, the Maywood Chemical Company was processing coca as they were banning this product in various areas. I hope y'all are following along. This Maywood, the family that was running this Maywood Chemical Company out of New Jersey, was a Negro family. They were also murdered. The people who survived moved to a place that was called Maywood, Illinois. These people knew about coca. They knew about that ash tree because they were working with multiple trees, extracting oils and chemicals out of these leaves to export them to other businesses around the United States. Maywood, Illinois, just right in my face, was also predominantly black. They started planting those ash trees all over Cook County, Illinois. Because they were getting slaughtered in Jersey. Because you got foreigners coming in and they targeting them. You go look up all of those old Maywood chemical films and all you see is niggas and leaves and niggas bagging leaves up and putting them on boats for export. They controlled that export. They was about to do it again in Illinois, Maywood, Illinois. Predominantly black. That's Cook County, if I'm not mistaken, in the Chicago metro area. You had an ancient family of Negroes who knew about that coca. They knew about that ash, and they knew about tobacco, just like they knew about all the other leaves. And guess what happened to them? Targeted. Let me see. Targeted. I hope y'all following. I hope y'all following along. They were targeted. Let's pull up Maywood. Motto, the village of eternal light. If y'all don't believe these people been moving back and forth for centuries, these ancient people been moving back and forth from that area down to Georgia, up and over for centuries. The same areas in Illinois is here in Georgia. You got a Peoria here in Georgia. You got a Cairo down here in Georgia, where they was using the syrup. The Cairo in Georgia is known for syrup. They famous for this dark, rich syrup. They called the Cairo syrup makers. They was at one point using that dark, rich syrup in Coca-Cola. And then it got sinister. Maywood, Illinois. And it always show a peckerwood. that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Just a random picture of a peckerwood. Founder of the village. I know the Nichols family. They all niggas. I went to college with the Nichols family. In fact, you had one of the Nichols from the Nichols family playing for the Atlanta Falcons at one point. Them ain't no peckerwoods. (1868) Vermont businessmen established the Maywood Company. In 1870, it organized the platting of streets and began construction on the north side of Chicago Great Western Railroad tracks. The company planted 20,000 8-year-old nursery-grown trees to enhance the future of the town. They not talking about decoration, y'all. And we not talking about white people here in 1870. We talking about Negroes. They wasn't planting 2,000 8-year-old little bitty nursery trees for decoration. They was moving their industry there. By 2010, the last of the 148-year-old trees had succumbed to the emerald ash borer. Oh, man. By 2010, the last of the trees had succumbed to the emerald ash borer. What's the emerald ash borer? What is it? It's a jewel beetle native to Northeast Asia that feeds on ash species. They just keep coming and keep destroying, just like the kudzu the Asians brought in, because we look at them as all, they're all white. Just like they did the kudzu, they did the emerald beetle to choke up their industry. Now all your industry gone as of 2010. Now prior to 2010, did the Negroes in that Chicago metro area know that it was some bosses running that? Did they know? Did they know that the only thing that moved this industry out of America was a thing called the Porter Act, Porter. The Porter Act was passed. Well, they could not even grow and produce coca in this part of America anymore. They choked up a cash crop. And that should also give you